Hi everyone. Happy Thursday. This has been an awesome week and I have Miss Daisy Alexander with me. I am so excited. We were supposed to 7 8, but hey, when you have to tend to your business, you have to tend to it when it needs you. And so um I appreciate her taking the time out to make sure she keeps her word and come out to see me because I know she's a busy woman. All right, so we're gonna today talk about in this live workshop, we're gonna talk about various insurance needs that you may have in regards to buying a home before and after, buying a car, what you would need or what to consider before and after, and also for your business as well. And if you have any questions for those of you who may be watching, please feel free to ask, okay? Make comments. This is what this live workshop is about. It's about being able to give you some general answers and response to get you directed on the path. So, Nate, I really appreciate you with me.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so now you offer several lines of insurance. Go ahead and share with them what they are.
Okay. Hi, my name is Daisy Alexander with SE Benchmark Insurance, and I do provide auto insurance, homeowners insurance, life insurance, commercial insurance, general liability, workers' comp, and health insurance. Um, yeah, that's it.
I was like, keep going. She got you covered all the way around. Do you hear me? So it's like when you go to see her, you don't have to just ask her about one particular insurance product. She could help you with all the various types of lines of insurance that are available. So, on my online resource platform, I like to talk about some of the several major purchases that we face, which is home ownership and buying a car.
Okay.
Okay, so I did a workshop the last time where I had a mortgage company come out and they talked to you about what you would need to secure your home and things to have considered in order to make sure that process of purchasing that home goes out smoothly. And one of those things was insurance. And guess who I have? I have Miss Daisy Alexander of SE Benchmark here to talk to you about why the insurance is important and some things to share, even some stories that she had. And she's going to take it away from here. So, what is it you would like for my IMTW audience to hear from about home ownership before and after the different types?
um, when you're looking to purchase your home, and there's so many different things that goes into your home. Some of us are buying to actually live in the home, and some of us are buying investment and rental property. So when we think about that, the policies read a little differently, and there's not one homeowner's policy, a condo policy, or a landlord renter's policy that will be the same. All policies are different depending on what you have, what's going on inside of your home, and the different things that you need to make sure that's properly covered for you.
Okay, okay. Now, what would you say, like, I know, like, when they're buying that home, what is the name of that type of insurance policy where they have to have it before they close on that mortgage? So if you all out there are looking to buy a home, what type of mortgage is that? Like a protection kind of?
Right. So if you're purchasing a new home, typically you need a HO3 policy, and that policy is going to cover you and the home. So when we're looking at the policy, and most importantly in our homes, is the dwelling coverage on the policy. And the dwelling is what actually covers the home. If, God forbid, if the house burns to the ground, we need to be able to rebuild the home, clean up the ground, rebuild the home, and have your house back to the way that it was, if not better, and your dwelling is the most important portion of the home of the policy.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, when we talked about insurance, we talked about it as protecting your interest. Not only your home, isn't that an important interest of yours? And this is where insurance comes in place to protect that. Now, let's talk about renters insurance for those of you who may not be into buying a home but prefer to rent out. How does that help them in the same way?
When you're saying that if you're not purchasing and you're renting from someone at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you have renter's insurance, or if you're renting, at this time your landlord is always taken care of because they have their landlord policy. But if you're a tenant and you're renting a home, you want to make sure that you have coverage also, because what happens if you're unable to live in your home? If there's a fire, then you need to be able to make sure we replace your items with your personal property protection. And also you need loss of use so you can actually go and find you somewhere to stay, even if it's temporary or if you need to find a new place to live. And all of that is covered under your renter's insurance policy.
Wow, look at that. All the ways you could protect your interests and cover yourself, right? Now, I remember attending another workshop where you spoke at, and you would talk about this inventory list thing.
So when we speak about the inventory list and we speak about your any policy that you have, the first thing that you want to do is actually take an inventory of all the things that you have in your home. Why? Because if something happens, if it's an emergency, if something happens and your house burns down, you're not thinking properly. So you need to make an inventory of everything that you have today. So when it's time to file the claim, you go to your inventory list and you can actually check off everything that's damaged. God forbid if you have a theft, then you go and if somebody breaks in your home, you feel violated. So you're not really thinking properly. So if you have your inventory list, you can go through your house and check off exactly what's missing. So then when you file your police report and you file your report with your when you file your claim with your insurance company, then you have everything at hand. Sometimes because you do the inventory list, you'll have your serial numbers, you have all the different things. Even because you have that, you have the value of your items. So it's all those different things that goes into that, as far as making sure that you have an inventory of everything that you have.
Okay, that was awesome. And the point she's making is get that inventory list completed first so that it makes it easier for you to see, like she said, what you're missing, okay? Now, if you visit on my online resource center at www.imtw-online.net, you will find some resources or articles available to help you with home ownership. Okay, so do take the time to visit the website and do some reading and some research and get yourself properly prepared for that. Okay, and also if you have any questions, I will leave her contact information on the comment side, and you can also go onto my website. You will find her contact information there as well. Okay, thank you all for joining and watching. Now we're going to talk about um, auto insurance. Okay, another major purchase. Some things you would love immediately to share with those who are about to buy your car. Okay, so let's when you go to buy a car, they're gonna the lenders are gonna tell you, hey, the car dealers they're gonna tell you we need to make sure you have insurance on this vehicle because obviously it's state required before you drive off. So Daisy is gonna go ahead and share some things that she would like for you to know when you come to get your quote
Oh,
or
so
just share it.
right. So with auto insurance, it's the season. It's tax season, so people are buying cars. And that's great. But the best thing that you want to do is you have an idea of what type of car that you're purchasing. Call and get your quote for your auto insurance before you purchase the car. Sometimes the price of the insurance, depending on your driving record, what type of car you're purchasing, all of those different things may be your deciding factor on buying your car. And when we look at the different things in true, when you go and you buy a car, the car dealership and the finance manager, he wants to make sure you have collision and comprehensive coverage. Why? Because that take care of him. That's going to cover your loan. If something happens to your car and you're at fault in an accident, then you have your collision coverage that actually covers the car to actually repair the car. Then you have your comprehensive. There's
Mm.
anything that does not that's not a collision. So if a rock hits your car, you hit a well, we're in South Florida, but sometimes we have those deers. Um, if a deer hits your car, if you hit anything, your theft. vandalism, fire, all of that is considered comprehensive coverage under your policy. In the state of Florida, we're a no fault state. So the state required is just property damage and personal injury protection. Now, you can have liability coverage. I strongly recommend it. It is optional. It is to protect the other person, but it happens. What happens if you have an accident with someone and you're at fault, the person is injured? Yes, they have the first 10,000 of their personal injury protection, but what if it goes over that amount? What if you don't have liability and you cause an accident and the person is injured? Then for the next 3 years, the state is going to require you to have SR 22 insurance. So why not get liability from the beginning?
And this is like you're recommending this is above the limit state required,
This is
and this is
above.
a great point she's making because a lot of people just get the minimum, but so we could still be responsible for this financial damage even after having just the state minimum, huh?
Absolutely. And the other parts, and when we're doing our auto insurance and we're going to the car dealership and we're making sure we're getting the policy. Sometimes people tell us, get a $1,000 deductible because the higher the deductible, the cheaper the policy. Well, you're going from $500 to $1,000. Make sure you see what the difference is in that policy. If it's $10, $20, or if it's $100, and then you weigh the options whether or not that's important to you. Another thing that we don't think about is rental car reimbursement, and we think about it when we have the accident. But when we're looking at the policy and we're making sure that we get the best rate for the policy, and we're trying to, keep our policy at a minimum, and we're trying to stay within budget, we'll say, well, I don't need rental car reimbursement until you're in an accident and you're at fault and you don't have a rental car. So now how are you going to get back and forth to work? And that's when we think about insurance and we think about, I really don't want to pay for that. But what happens when something happens?
That's a great point Daisy is making right now. And what she's describing is you are investing in yourself when you purchase insurance. You're saying, I'm going to invest in myself in a way where um, I will have coverage. I will have protection because yes, if you in an accident and you need a rental car you need a rental car because you have to get around, guess what? You don't have that available because you didn't consider purchasing that from the get-go. So when we do think that something is too much, it's like think about it is, are you worth spending that amount of money on yourself? Because we could try to run to people, depend on people, and they don't come through. But if you know you're making this money, and like I say, while there's a lot of things we can't control, the most responsible and control the most part that we can control is the dollars when it comes in our hands. So don't sell yourself short when it comes to properly investing and ensuring in your interests, okay? So, and I think she made another good point about choosing the amount of coverage, everyone, you need on your policy. If it's just a $10, $10, $20, $30, or $100 difference, it's like, 'cause if it's not going to hurt your budget, don't skip out on it, okay? Because we so easily go out to eat, go to the beach, we do different activities, okay? But we're not investing in ourselves where we're properly covered. All right, what else can we say about auto insurance? I mean, you've covered quite a bit. You talked about the comprehension. So if a tree falls, because you know in Florida we have to deal with hurricanes.
Hurricanes.
So when I thought about a tree falling on a car, that's all I see when I see the hurricane. So let's talk about that. Is that a
That's
comprehensive?
comprehensive.
So
Yes.
when you all stay near areas with a lot of trees, make sure you have that comprehensive part on your car. Let's talk about water damage and all of that that like affects. Oh,
Let's
you
go
want
back to auto insurance.
auto insurance? Okay.
Just one tidbit, and it's one of the things that happened in the office this week. It was a young lady called in for insurance, and we were doing her quote, and everything looked fine. She had a really good rate. Well, I asked that magic question: how's your driving record? I am about to pull your motor vehicle report. And so when I pulled her motor vehicle report, she had, I don't know how many red light tickets. So once she has those red light tickets, we pull up and we see the sign telling us that it's a red light camera, and we ignore it and we turn on red anyway when the sign says do not turn on red. And she had all these tickets. Well, she couldn't get insurance. The one company said no completely, and then another company, they wanted to charge her a couple $1,000 because she had so many red light tickets. So when we go through and we think about it, yes, you go to the ticket clinic and they say, oh, we're removing the ticket. They're removing the points from the state. The insurance companies still see everything that you do. So
Y'all think about that. Like, think about your driving habits out there, okay? Don't let that aggressive behavior or arrogant behavior penalize you, because at the end of the day, when we're asking for insurance companies to be on our behalf, they're rating us based on, as she's saying, our driving record. What else does it take while we're on the subject? Is what else, what other categories like impact our insurance quote?
our credit,
Credit.
um, more than anything, is the type of car that we're purchasing. So you already know if you drive pretty fast, um, don't purchase a sports car. I'm sorry. I mean, I understand.
I knew she was gonna have me laughing. I knew I was gonna. Okay, don't do yourself a favor.
Right. Not now. And then our zip codes play, and did I mention credit?
Zip codes, yeah, and she mentioned credit,
And
so your driving record.
it's your credit, your driving record, and your zip code.
I hope y'all have pen and paper and are writing this down, okay? So let's talk about, like, when I thought about hurricane season,
Okay.
how this impacts the house, what they should do. If they do, some of you might have a house and they probably might not even have some necessary coverages. Can you talk about those things? May not.
Okay. So when we're talking about your homeowner's insurance, I did touch on dwelling coverage, making sure that you're properly covered with your dwelling. The next thing is that you want to have your other structures. There's anything that's not connected to your home. Your personal property, those are your items. That's your items, and you want to actually have replacement costs. And why? Because if something happens, you want the insurance company to replace back to the cost that it will cost you to replace your item today, not actual cash value. You also want to make sure that you have loss of use. So if you're unable to live in your home, you can go and get a hotel room. If it's going to be short term, then maybe you go and rent something else, but you need to have your loss of use coverage. And you have your liability coverage, because now if something happens, you want to make sure that you're properly covered, your medical payments coverage. And then we look at that thing called deductible. So when we look at our deductibles, standardly you can probably have $1,000 deductible, but when we're shopping for a home and we're trying to make our rates a little bit better, we're looking at that deductible and we say, okay, it's okay for us to go up to 2,500, and that's fine. Just understand that when you file your claim, that you're responsible for that $2,500. And most of the time, when we're thinking about it, it's not much today, and that's fine. The key is that you have a standard deductible, all perils, and then you have a windstorm, a wind and hail deductible, which is normally like your hurricane deductible for people that's in Florida. And it's typically 2% of your dwelling cost. So think about that. If your dwelling is 200,000 and then your deductible is 2% of that. And then what if sometimes you change the rate up to 5%? So then you need to make sure that you understand exactly what your deductible is. So when the hurricane hit and you have loss, that you know what your deductible is, as well as what it is when you're ready to file the claim.
Because they're accountable to meet that 5% first, is what you're saying, right?
Yes, or
Okay.
yes, you are responsible for that 5%. So even if you file a claim, then you have to you have concern about what your deductible is.
Oh, okay. So let's talk about, because I know you're a busy woman. I know you got that you have to do. Let's talk about general liability insurance for business owners.
Okay.
Okay. So what's the two types? What's the
Okay. So
like?
when you're first starting your business, um, especially in Broward County. I know my office is located in Lauderhill. In order to even purchase your occupational license, you have to have general liability. And basically, what they're doing is making sure that if you're caused any damage to anyone, that you're actually properly covered, and that someone, that is not attacking you personally, is actually against your business. There are different things that you can add to that. When you have a building, you can make sure your property on the inside, just like at home. You want your property at home to be taken care of in your business. You need your items at the business taken care of. You have computers, you have desks, some of us have books. Um, you have all of your office supplies. So you want to make sure that's covered under your property damage in addition to your general liability.
Okay. And then I know, like, with my friend in his shop, like, he has this garage liability because he has a warehouse. And I guess, like, the vehicles that he would have out in front, that would be under general liabilities, right?
Right, but that's
To,
covered
or
under his garaging.
that's covered under
Under his
garage.
garaging.
Okay, okay. So just so
So
that
he
those
needs
who,
additional. I'm sorry.
uh-huh.
So depending on your business, you may need a supplemental coverage, and that's to make sure that you're properly covered and properly covering your items.
Okay. General liability insurance is something important to get. Like, what about for people who offer services to
Ooh.
other people who have
Like
use, using their equipment or washing cars and
that will fall under your
that would
general liability.
okay.
That does fall under your general liability. It's different. There are different businesses, different um, businesses that you can have, like a real estate agent or an insurance agent. We need errors and omissions. Some call it professional liability, and basically what that is that if we're providing additional information, then we need to be liable for that, and we're responsible for the information that we're providing, and making sure that we tell you everything and properly cover you. So then we have professional liability, which some people just say errors and omissions.
Mhm. Okay. So what she's describing is when we're business owners offering services or products or using equipment or however, we just know that our actions could cause an impact on um well, it could create a financial liability. So we don't want our personal savings to be affected by that. So we invest in an insurance policy that would have us covered. God forbid, we don't want any of that to happen, but we could feel secure about doing our business and knowing that, hey, our customers are protected, we're protected, the building is protected. And if you have any more questions, do feel free to call Daisy Alexander of SE Benchmark. She'll be more than happy to answer your questions, give you a quote, help you to understand what important coverages there are that you may want to consider for your various needs. So when we're thinking about insurance, we're thinking about protecting our interests. And I want to thank you so much for coming out here today. It really made my day. Thank you. So do you have anything else, any advice, tip, encouragement, or something to say to our audience?
Not much, but thank you for having
My
and
pleasure.
and just making sure that if anybody has any questions about their insurance, just give us a call. We're always one phone call away, and that's 954-371-0010. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and I'm going to post that information on the comments tab so you will not miss out. All right, thank you so much now. So I was going to shake your hand.
I was trying.
Oh. Let me walk you out.
Okay.
All right. I'll be right back, everyone.
Okay.
Oops, sorry.
Mhm.
That was awesome. I didn't know. I was like, you got to do good. Okay, was that not awesome, y'all? Okay, okay. So I'm going to post that information. And I thank you all for watching. Do you all have any questions? Anybody have any questions about auto insurance? I could still post it for ask on your behalf. I won't take up any more of your time. We did start late. And I do apologize. Some things just kind of happen, but you know, when you're determined to get something and deliver on your word, you saw two people come through and we made it happen, okay? I appreciate you all for watching and you enjoy your beautiful day now. Take care. Bye.